It's a shortened week, everybody, but heading into the middle of the week, there's already some stuff that you need to know. Brandon Aidlet with the National Weather Service is here. And Brandon, let's talk about the fact that you are expecting very, very windy conditions when we hit Wednesday.
That's right. So one of the considerations that we have for this time of year, the dry season, is when we have these shear lines come down into the Marianas. The shear line is the southernmost extent of a cold front that typically runs off the coast of China, Japan, passes well to the north of the Marianas. But we see this feature as a narrow band of clouds and showers, usually extending up to about 10 to 12,000 feet. Don't really see thunderstorms, but when that shear line comes over the islands, you see very cloudy, wet, rainy conditions, very windy and strong gusts. That's what we saw across the CNMI yesterday and what we have in store for us by tomorrow on Wednesday.
Now, of course, the concern is if it's going to be windy, is that wet and windy or is it dry and windy? Because on either side, there are some things that we need to look out for, which could be dangerous.
That's right. So as this cloud band gets over you, the winds will greatly pick up. We'll see some showers and gusty conditions, and sometimes that visibility is going to drop down to a half mile, especially with the heavier showers. But again, we're not going to see significant accumulations. It's just going to be like the very small rain droplets that drop the visibility. No significant accumulation unless you get some of the heavier showers that happen to train over the island. But otherwise, it will be wet and blustery. And then sometimes these shear lines do drop south of the islands. If that's the case, the rain showers will push down to the south, and we'll be in a kind of a colder, well, cooler, drier air mass. It's going to feel a little bit like Hawaii. So that is one of the things that we're watching in the computer models to see if this feature does drop to the south of Guam. Sometimes they do, but not always.
Okay, so now to the other big news of this week, and we're just beginning our work week here, but our friends over at the U.S. Coast Guard, evidently their radio system has been inoperable to a certain extent, and we would like to actually direct anybody in the nautical community, boaters, people that do, they go out on the water, to the social media and web-based resources that you have, just so they can see what the conditions are, so they can be safe out in the water.
That's right. So we've been hearing about that. And so we do have our NOAA weather radio. And so this is on our webpage, weather.gov/GUM/NWR, NOAA weather radio. And so if you're on the waters or anywhere near Guam and Rota, you can reach our channel through WXM-85. And then also on the frequency, we're looking at 162.40 megahertz. If you're up across Tinian and Saipan and nearby waters, the call signal will be WXM-86, and then the frequency will be 162.550 megahertz. And so that is up 24/7. You can get that around the clock with all of our forecasts and the latest watches, warnings, and advisories.
Very nice. And we don't typically talk about this technology stack that much these days anymore, with everything being IP based, but this is precisely why these things still exist, because if in the event traditional systems go down, you've got a very reliable backup.
That's right. And so that's one of the most important considerations when there's any type of dangerous, hazardous weather. Make sure you got multiple ways of getting the latest forecasts and advisories, whether it's through television, through the webpage, also our social media, NWS Guam, on Facebook and Twitter. We'll be putting information not as frequently on social media as what we have on our webpage, that is updated at the least twice daily in the morning and in the afternoon.
There you go. We appreciate it, my friend. Thanks as always for the information.
Absolutely.